What is going on, everybody? It's Eli here from Treefall Studios. Let's see if I can see this correctly. One second. What is awesome. All right, I believe I have set up everything correctly. See, this is my very first time live streaming on YouTube. I've done it a couple times on Twitch, but that's a little bit different, so I'm just trying to make sure everything is set up and that I can see the chat and my video and all of that. So the title of this stream was Playing Pitter Pot and Discussing Future Projects, which I set up earlier this morning, but that's not going to actually be possible because as I went through my hard drive to get the correct versions of Pitter Pot, I realized that I did not have the actual Unity project anymore that runs that version. So, I would have to download it again. And so it would have taken too long to set up really quickly. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and show off a little bit of Maze Pedestal of Trials, which is the project I'm currently working on, and just chat with you guys about some of the things that we're going to be doing pretty soon, including maybe looking into some sequels like Pitter Pot 2 and such. Let me know in the chat if you can see everything and hear everything correctly. Just want to make sure that everything is working as it should be. I believe that I can see everything correctly. So you guys should be able to see this window here and see the game. I'm going to try to pull this up on my phone as well so I can see double time. All right. So I'm just going to show a little bit of this level first. As you can see, you can go ahead and see the overview from inside of the engine, but this actually has no audio, but I'm going to go ahead and boot it up anyways and show you a few clips of me playing this. But yeah, this is just basically a test stream, see how everything works. And in the future, I would like to do at least maybe once a week, maybe showing a little bit of development on my current games and kind of do it with you guys, show you how everything works, and maybe have you guys throw in the input and check out how progress goes in real time. Maybe like an hour once a week, something like that. And then maybe also, if you guys are really enjoying it and that kind of thing, maybe do another one where I play some of my old games and talk about the design. That was exactly what I was going to do this evening, but like I said, I do not have a playable version of Pitter Pot. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about Maze and what we're going to do after this game is completed. So this is pretty cool, actually. This is like one of my favorite new levels, and I just finished it up today, actually. Everything is done on this level except for the new music track. That's the only thing that I have to do. That's something I'm currently working on. I already started it, but I'm not completely finished. So you won't be able to hear any audio or whatever. And then there's sound effects that also need to go on these keys as well. But I don't have those in here, even though I started those. So basically, this level is actually much more simple than people think, but it took a lot of work to get done. There's a few different gates. There's a green one, a purple one, a red one. There's some places to go down that way. And it's basically just showing you you can't really explore too much until you figure out this puzzle where you collect the keys. I just think it's pretty cool because it's one of the first levels that actually has more to it than just walking through the walls and grabbing the coins and getting to the end and all of that. So you grab the first key and you can see I have some 3D UI up in the corner that shows you grab the key, and then when you step into this square here in front of the gate, it will automatically animate, and then when you grab this key, then you can go over here to the next section and open up the purple gates, and that opens up a whole new section over here for you to get other keys. I'm going to go ahead and back out of this level here because I can show you I've got it all hooked up now. Actually, I finished this today, so all the levels are completely working with the loading screen and ready to go. So this game is like really close to being finished. Actually, there's just a few like minor things that I need to do, like, you know, I need to replace this sign. Today I finished the UI down here. As you can see, I drew this new check mark, which I think is pretty cool. It's like stylistic done instead of kind of, you know, exactly like the old check mark was, kind of squarish for the first game. And as you can see, it tells you whether or not you've beaten the level or not, and then it shows you a 3D image of the maze that you're looking at, a little overview, and tells you the name, maze 1, 2, 3, and it tells you how to enter and all of that. So now every level has its 3D UI display done now. Earlier this morning, only about half of them were working, but now each one of them is completely done, because I did just finish the maze 7 and 8, which are these two, so now you can see them, and plus you can check out the overview here. It looks really cool in this part of the level. So let me shoot over here really quickly. Yeah, this game was originally, I was working on this in like 2017, and then basically I gave up on it, kind of. And then, well, not gave up on it completely, but it kind of got shelved and then put to the side, and I had to finish up college and a few other things, and then I basically had to transition out of the Wii U development. So then this game never really got completed, and now that I'm back on the PlayStation and PC and such, I decided to go ahead and revamp it like I did the original game. So this is just using the same exact texture set and most of that for the original maze. This is just a spin-off. It's a much smaller game, but I think overall it's much better than the first game now, because the levels are much more complex, and I've actually done quite a bit of upgrades. Like this level is completely new, wasn't in the original before I started redoing it, and same with this one, also new. These are all new textures as well, so not completely all from the first game. So yeah, so there's basically 10 levels in this game, which is basically a third of the size of the original maze game. But like I said, I think the levels are, one, they're bigger, and they're better and more complex, so I think it's worth it. And I'm only going to charge a few dollars for this compared to the price of the original maze on the PlayStation. So I think it's well worth the time and the money that you're going to be able to get out of this game. So I'm going to show a little bit of maybe this one, and then also kind of this one. I really think this tower one is pretty cool, but I actually, out of all of the levels that are hooked up, I think that is actually the only one that I can't access from the game without going back into the Unity engine. What platforms is this going to be on? So technically right now this is going to be on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. This is not going to have an upgrade version of the for PlayStation 5 yet. It's just going to be like backwards compatible. I'm currently working on getting a PlayStation 5 dev kit, so whenever I do that, my games will have like enhanced versions for the PlayStation 5. And also, I'm going to put this out on the PC. Think I'm going to do a Steam release for this, but not totally sure, just because you have to pay $100 for every single one, and I don't usually sell a lot of downloads on Steam, but Maze sold better on Steam than Orb did, and I think that Orb 2 is a better game than the original Maze. So that kind of gives me an indication that people enjoy this Maze type of genre on Steam. So I'm thinking of maybe doing it on there, probably also having it available on itch.io. I just rebooted my account on there, so that's free for me to put on there, and it'll be the same price for anyone who plays on the PC, so you can get it on there as well. I've also got a friend now, actually. This is kind of new information, but I have a buddy who has a Switch license who is actually going to possibly help me start porting some of my games to the Switch, starting with the Perplexing Orb 2, but that's not official yet, so I can't get too excited, or you guys shouldn't get too excited. We're still kind of working out the details, and then I'm still working on trying to get a kit for myself, so that's also a much more doable possibility now. So yeah, So it's going to be on a few different platforms, playable for everybody. And like I said, I really want everyone to be able to experience this and check out some of the new levels, because I really like some of the level designs that I've been doing for this. And I think it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to like undercharge to try to sell more copies. I'm just going to charge $1.99. So this is one of the coolest mazes to me. This is the tomb. This is the pyramid set from the original maze, except for I really played around with lighting. As you can see, like the crystals are lighting up the walls. There's no natural light coming in because it's all inside. And then I modeled these crystal torches here. I talked about this in a devlog as well. And they light up the whole level. I actually didn't I messed the lighting up somehow and then had to redo it all the other day, so I changed it up a little bit. Made it just a tiny bit brighter in places because, you know, it was a little hard to see. And as you can see, some parts are still pretty dark, but that's kind of how I wanted it because I want you to be able to explore and all of that. So, yeah. So you can check it out and see that, you know, you can see through the hallway here, and there's places to go over here, and I don't want to show too much. I also think this looks really cool as you're coming around the corner. You can kind of see the red glow here hitting the wall, and then there's like a blue crystal like lighting all this up. It's just, I also think the lighting of the crystals looks super cool on the sand piles that I've got sitting around here. It's just like really moody, and this is also brand new level that I made for this game, and I don't want to reuse the maze theme for the desert from the first game, because I think that music is just one of the weaker tracks from the first maze game, even though I do overall like the maze soundtrack for the first game. So I'm actually going to rewrite this theme as well and make it much more, you know, kind of dark and moody to fit this lights. So there's also no volume in here. Sorry about that. You know, it's kind of, I guess, lame just to hear the dings or whatever. I actually have the audio muted so you couldn't even hear the coins and the jumping sound effects and stuff. But yeah, so you basically get to this level, and then you can see there's an entire maze that you have to jump through as you're walking on the ceiling, basically, of the walls here from level 1. And then you can see that way there's a third level up above that goes around, and then there's an entire maze built around this room. And on top of that, once you get up to the third level, you can jump back up and you can go across all the tops of these walls here as well, which is pretty cool. Just a whole lot going on for this level. So I won't ruin it all, you know, so you will be able to solve your way out. And I'll go ahead and back out. So you can see I got the pause working and all that. Really simple. I kind of love these animations. It just blurs out the background. Let me just go ahead and put the audio on here and then double check the audio levels to make sure that this is not too loud for you all. Let's see. Because it sounds pretty loud in my head. Is that too loud? Let's see. I'm still pretty new at this, so sorry if there's little kinks in the stream. I will get better, I promise. And can you even hear the output from the screen? And yes, Xtano, that is a new loading screen. I actually drew that from scratch. And let me show you here again. So yeah, if you pause it, I'll just show you the pause and then I can exit again. Let me just jump into the first level so you can check that out. So yeah, it is a brand new loading screen, all new icon, all new maze, and a new animation. Very similar to the first one, but I think it looks a little bit smoother. As you can see, I got the pause working. I've got the inversion, so you can invert your controls. I got a couple volume controls here. You can change the background music and the sound effects if you want. They're both defaulted to high. And then, like I said, you can exit below when there's a little animation. It pops you out and then drops you back in. This section, actually, so I always thought this was really cool. It is a tad too loud. Let me just mute it because I don't know how to change it on the fly. I don't want to ruin the volume for everyone. So this part of the level actually is something really cool. I just, for some reason, when I first started making it, I just wanted to try to explore with like an inside-outside thing, and then you open up to the big hub world or whatever, and you know there's this gate that moves for you. But I'm actually thinking about making this entire stretch the tutorial, and that you will only be able to access this once on a brand new game. And obviously the lighting isn't baked here yet, so there will be more realistic lighting in this part of the area, so it'll be like dark, and these crystals will light up the walls, and you know the light will be coming through these windows, these skylights that I cut out, so that will look a lot better. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do for there. So I think the only thing else that I can really show you on this, to try not to spoil too much of the game, is maybe a little bit of how this maze has been redone, because I don't think I've talked about that too much. I did one devlog on it, but you know, didn't really fully show it. And then maybe I'll back out and then show you this elevator one real quick. Well, I landed over here. So let me just check this. Alright, so you'll be able to see inside the game the Unity engine here. So we got my folders, and these are all the levels in the game. Spoiler alert for the secret level. So I just baked the lighting for this, so the lighting is done. As you can tell, it just fits into the bricks. There's ambient occlusion, so it's like darker in the crevices and stuff like that. That's what happens after I finish baking the lighting. And it's kind of cool that you guys can see this in the engine here, this giant tower where I've got like all of the so the finish is way up here at the very top, and if you look down here, all the way at the bottom is where you start. Lost it. It's around one of these corners, but I'll go ahead and just jump in here and show you a little bit what this looks like. Alright, so this level is really cool. Oh, this also is a perfect example because you start right here at the end. You know, I've got this checkpoint controller working, and don't worry, this is kind of was originally how the checkpoint was going to look, but it's not exactly that descriptive, so I think I might change the sign a little bit and how it's going to look, and then across the screen flash like checkpoint placed or something like that. That's like one of the only things I've got left to do. So if you drop a checkpoint or whatever and then jump off the die, you get this little smack sound, and then the little windows close and reopen, and you reappear right by the checkpoint. So like if I drop it like way up there, you know, and then just jump off, like it'll drop me exactly where I placed it. And then if you also die, you know, without having a checkpoint placed, it just pops you right back to exactly where you started. The only kind of silly thing is I don't force reset the controller to like look exactly where you were looking when you spawned in. So like wherever you're looking, you know, and you jump off, that's where you're going to be looking again. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, so this level is super cool because it's got like 5 levels. It's just basically an elevator, you know, tower maze. And basically what you do, thanks a lot on the transition thing. I think it's pretty cool. I changed it up a bit because the original maze, it's just so abrupt. You know, if you fall off to die or you touch one thing, it's game over, and you lose the whole game, and you have to start over, and then you have to collect all the coins again. And some of the mazes are just super long, so that is just ultra frustrating. You know, I was just trying to make it a little bit easier for, you know, players who are just trying to play a little bit more casually and whatnot. So there is no game over in this. If you collect, you know, 9 coins and then you have a checkpoint place and then you fall off, you warp right back to exactly where your checkpoint was, or you warp back to the start. So there basically is a penalty if you fall off or hit something that will kill you. You will have to go back to the start, but you don't have to collect all the coins and go down all the side paths and all that stuff again, because that's just super frustrating. I remember watching people's live streams playing the original maze, and they were trying to do that one that it's like maze 14, 15, around there, that tribal maze. Maybe it's 13, the one with the arrows. That maze is just brutal. There's a couple of those mazes in World 2 in that game that are just absolutely brutal. And if you die and you had like 8 9 coins, even 10 coins, and then you hit the little tikis or whatever, and you had to start over. It's like I would just quit that game. So I can totally understand how, you know, people were so upset about all of that. So yeah, but anyways, here is like the first elevator, and you grab the coin, and so you can see I made it through the bottom part of the maze. This one's actually, you know, not, it's pretty difficult, but it's not the hardest. But you know, it's kind of hard to get all the way through. And then you just, all you have to do is walk out here onto this platform, and then boom, it's an automatic elevator. And you can see I've already got it to where if you fall onto it or you jump off, it just, you know, it'll go right back. So, you know, it doesn't get stuck. You can do the levels as many times as you want. You can fall off at the beginning. You can just accidentally fall off and it will just come right back down. So yeah, I got the automatic elevator system working, which is super cool. And it's also cool to watch you just rise into the next floor and then go, oh man, there's just so many more floors. So I won't show you all of it. That's all I'll show for here. Let's see if this actually works. It might not. Yeah, I didn't think so. It's not actually hooked up. I'm going to jump back into the hub world, I suppose. Unless you guys want to see an overview, like in the engine again, of a different level. But yeah, so that's basically a few of the cool new levels that I haven't really shown off. And I mean, spoiler alert, if you're really caring about the story of this game, you might want to tune out for just a few seconds, because I guess I'll mention, because this is the first live stream I've done, so a cool reveal on it would be pretty sweet. So there are 10 levels here, you know, all around this big hub world room. But that is not all the levels in the game. There's actually a super secret bonus level that you unlock by beating all of these levels. I'm actually, you know, you can leave in the comments or in the chat what you think about this. I'm in hardcore debate on whether or not you can't make that jump. You have to jump up here. Shortcut tip, by the way, for speedrunners, you can just jump right on top of this maze and grab pedestal 7 or maze 7, whichever you prefer to call it. But yeah, I'm like really in a hard debate with myself whether or not I'm going to force the players to beat every single level in order to unlock the secret bonus level, because it's super cool, or if I'm going to do a 9 out of 10 levels you unlock it, or an 8 out of 10 levels you unlock it. I'm really leaning towards 8 out of 10. Either 8 out of 10, because just dropping at 1 kind of feels a little uneven. So if you beat basically 80% of the game, you unlock the secret bonus, or doing all of them. You know, I kind of wanted to do all of them, because then it feels like that's the reward for beating all of the levels. But at the same time, it's a little dangerous, because there's some of these mazes that are just super hard, like this one right here. I mean, just look at this. It's just, I mean, I thought it was so cool whenever I was designing it. I really planned this one all out and all the places you would go. And that was, you know, however long ago. And now when I'm playing it, there's like no cues, because this is the tower maze texture set from the first game. It was maze 18, I think, in the first maze game. It's really hard to tell, you know, where you've been and whatnot. You can leave the checkpoints and, you know, go check something. And, you know, also, by the way, you can warp back to the checkpoint. You don't actually have to die to get back to the checkpoint. You can go down like a path and be like, okay, let me check this path. Okay, this is it. Well, that was a loop around, but you can say, okay, this is a dead end, and then you can warp back to the checkpoint. So that adds a ton of ease of access for this game for people who aren't that good at puzzle games but still want to play through the puzzles and get through most of the story and such. But even with that, this level frustrates me. It's so large. I mean, you have sections like this where you got to go, okay, if I touch those, I'll die. And this kind of separates it from the rest of the halls. So you can kind of see, okay, oh, I've been by this trap section before, you know, that kind of thing. But like I said, this one is still pretty frustrating. So I just can't decide, you know, whether or not I'm going to fully require every level to unlock the secret bonus level or not. yeah, just let me know and leave a comment in the chat whether if you think that it should be 100% completion, or if you think 8 out of 10 levels, 9 out of 10 levels is good. That'll help it be for more players to be able to experience all of the levels. If you want to take a look, I'll just show a brief overview. I'm just going to show this because this is really cool. I've actually shown this on maybe a Patreon video like a few years ago. But I'm not actually going to show any of the real maze or whatever because this is like the super secret bonus level. But look at that. We're at 60 FPS while we're running the stream. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, if you can see, there's some errors throwing down here. This level is definitely not completed. This is one of the only ones I've still got to do. But the really cool thing about this level is there's like all these towers right here, right where you start. There's 1, 2, 3, and as you walk forward, we trigger the giant animation. As you can see, all the levels slide into place, and then when you walk up, the path animates into place, and then you have to jump across here, and then as soon as you get close, the walls appear. And if you can see, there's coins and stuff floating in the air and all of that, and then as soon as you get to the next level, the walls appear right in front of you all the way up to the very top, and then like you can see right there's the finish. You have to drop down and grab that finish after you've done all of these levels. So very similar tower vibe again to the level that we were just on, this one right here, but it's completely different because it's got all these animations and it builds right in front of you, and there's no elevators. You have to climb your way out the whole way. So super cool. I really like it a whole lot. I'm real excited because I just think it's such a cool way to end this game with a super secret bonus level that you didn't think was even in the game. It opens up a separate room, and then you can find it, and then boom, there it is. And then it's like got more animations and movement to it than any other level that we've seen so far in basically this type of maze game that I've been making. And then I also got the FPS counter on this game as well, or on this level. But yeah, this is basically showing you guys what kind of things I'm wanting to do for Maze 2, because if you can see, there's a whole lot of new ideas like checkpoints and animations here, no game overs, elevators, keys, doors, all this kind of stuff that took more coding and logic and design than the original Maze had. But it's still all in the same style and graphics and all of that from the first game. It's a much smaller game. It's just a spin-off. So this type of stuff is what I want to do for Maze 2. I would very much like to do more intricate puzzles, doors, keys, bigger animations, way better graphics, actual, full characters outside the signs that you got to help in the mazes, all sorts of stuff. So it's just really cool. I hope you guys are excited about that type of thing and seeing that type of design go on. It's definitely going to be much more difficult to complete and do, but I think it'll be worth it overall, because we've seen so far as we've made maze games throughout the years, that this series, porting to all the different platforms that we've done, Maze has been pretty successful on all the platforms. It was very successful on the PlayStation, super successful on Wii U, and like I said, it outsold Orb on Steam or whatever. So it's definitely, if not the most popular franchise that we have, probably one of our most successful ones. So I would like to keep making Maze games as well as Orb games, as well as Pitterpot games. So that brings me to the last topic for today, and this is really kind of what I wanted to just chat with you guys on the live streams about, is just kind of like what we're looking at after this game. And that is there's a couple things for what I'm planning on doing. So this game is definitely almost done, but as you can see, there's some debug stuff in here. Not everything is done. It's definitely missing some effects and graphics and a few things, and not every single level is hooked up with code, and I got to do the title screen, that kind of thing. But all the core levels are here and all the gameplay's here and it's working and stuff like that. So this game is almost done. It's not going to be able to make it to the end of March like I was hoping. Probably not. So you're looking at sometime in mid-April maybe when you can play this game fully. So currently right now what's on our slate is we're getting ready to re-release Pitterpot on the PlayStation 4 and 5 in the Pitterpot Complete bundle. It's a bundle that comes with Pitterpot and all the avatars at a discount, and that'll be coming out in about just under 2 weeks now. We haven't even posted about it yet. So we're going to be starting to pump Pitterpot again because I really would like to go into the sequel and start doing a sequel with you guys, doing devlogs, showing off all of that kind of thing. And then after that, I would, want to do a few other games outside of Pitterpot. So what we're doing is we're going to be doing Pitterpot as our major game this year, probably. As long as everything keeps going according to plan, we keep on trucking on. So we're going to be re-releasing Pitterpot this month in a new bundle, and then this game will be coming out next month, hopefully. And then after that, we're going to be looking at doing a lot of releases for our games in Europe and a couple of those other places in order to keep helping us get revenue in and keep going while we develop a bigger game, whether that's Pitterpot. We're also looking at a couple of other options. Don't want to throw too many names out there, but we'd like to start working on a bigger game as well as maybe one smaller spinoff. So basically after this game you can expect maybe 1 or 2 other Treefall games this year outside of bundles, re-releases, maybe a couple of the remaster type of things. So I also really like this level here because you get to ride a couple different elevators. This is another example of the elevator system working. And hello everyone in the chat. This is another example of the elevators system working, and you can see there's one that we rode over there, and then there's one that actually angles itself, so you can look down over this whole level and kind of see everywhere you were, and see all the bamboo and stuff. It's pretty cool. I leave the colliders up here so you can jump and just hop across the bamboo, pretend you're a ninja, that kind of thing. Definitely have a challenge, see if anybody can jump past these. It's near impossible. You can't do it. So you got to jump around or else you'll hit that checkpoint and go back to the very beginning. So let me check out the time here. Thanks, Xano. This is one of the cool ones. I really do like this one a whole lot. This was originally completely different colors. It had like this really ugly green grass texture and this kind of brick that I had drawn for it. But I decided to change it to the dead autumn grass material that I've got, and I feel like it changed the lighting, and then I changed the lighting up a little bit, and it changed the mood of this entire level so much. I like it a lot. As you can see, like I did the 3D shingles or whatever, and you can kind of see the light like bouncing on them up there. So I redid all the materials, and I redid the bamboo, so you kind of see how there's like a little bit of a light bouncing off that. Kind of gives a little 3D texture type of feel. So it's definitely changed a whole lot since the original one, even though the basically the layout of that level has not changed. So yeah, so that one is one of my favorites. I would have to say out of my favorite maze, I'm real excited to see what you guys think of all of these, and when you play it yourself. Probably my favorite is either this metal one or just this new one. This secret dev tip. These don't actually have names. They just have maze 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That kind of thing. But I have like internal names, what I nickname these, and this is the Matrix maze. That's kind of like what I was basing it off of. And then this one like is the one I call the tomb, and and that's the tower. So there's all sorts of different ones. The things I call them. There's actually, speaking of Pitterpot, want to do Pitterpot 2. Here's the new Pitterpot maze. This was originally the bonus level in the first maze, and then I redid it so you can see it's like a giant Pitterpot level basically, and I can jump in here real fast, and I actually baked the lighting so it looks a bit better, and you see the darkness and the shadows, and it's got like the pitter pot rain drawings or whatever for the particle effects. So, and it has like all these pitter pot models. It's also got the pitter pot rain music and stuff like that going on. So it's pretty cool. Just pretty simple maze actually. It's not the hardest one or whatever, but it is only, you know, in the very beginning. So yeah, basically you have the seasons maze made it back in, and you have different towering ones. You got pitter pots. This one is super cool. I'll just show a couple of them, you know, without showing the whole level. That way you guys can be surprised and get to play through the whole game yourself. But this one is, you know, kind of dark. It's all kind of darked out here. And then as you walk into hallways, you click on the lights. So there's actually a trophy, because you don't actually have to go through this entire level to find all the coins, you know, and get to the end. So there's actually a trophy that I'm planning on this, like a miscellaneous trophy for you to turn on all the lights, for example. That's one of the trophies we got in the trophy pack. So, you know, you have to find your way through all the maze in order to hit all of the lights, which is, you know, pretty cool. There's like a miscellaneous trophy in all of the levels just about for the trophy hunters out there, because this is a shorter maze, or shorter game. You know, there's only 11 levels here, 10 main levels, and then the super secret bonus level. So there's trophies for you to collect, like, you know, turning on all the lights in this one. This level has one of the harder trophies that is miscellaneous. Also, you can see the debug going on here. This is one of the coolest levels ever. So if you can see here, we got all these buttons around. Oh, shoot, that's the checkpoint controller. Oh, you can see, by the way, I don't even know if I mentioned this, you can pick the checkpoints back up and replace them wherever you want to. And if you place them inside a wall, it doesn't matter. You won't actually be shoved inside the wall. So, you know, just a couple of things to mention there, which is pretty cool. Cool. This mouse, I also like the orange-red thing in that level. I'm glad you like the atmosphere. That's pretty cool. I appreciate it. So yeah, you press these buttons here. I did it again. You press that. It's the triangle button. As you can see, there's an animation here, and you actually move the walls up and down, which is super cool. Oh, and also just a little thing here for my speedrunners or people who like to try to break the game. For example, if you press that and then jump up here, there is a kill volume outside, so you cannot survive on top of this maze. It will shove you back to the beginning. Oh, and another cool thing. This is just a game development related tip here, because people will always try to break your game, and then they will try to figure out a way to, you know, get outside of things. So you have to think outside the box when you're planning levels to make sure they don't break the design and kind of ruin the puzzle you're going for. So basically, you know, if you try to jump out of this maze and you hit the kill volume, you'll warp back. So I realized that people could try to drop a checkpoint like this and then basically, you know, get themselves killed. But if they dropped a checkpoint, let's say like too close to the kill volume where they would warp into the kill volume over and over and over, or if they dropped it while they're falling off of the maze and they keep falling and dying and then warping back to the checkpoint and falling and dying, they would be in an infinite loop where they would basically break the game. So in order to combat that, what I have done is basically said, you know, if you've got the checkpoint placed and then let's say you try to jump out of the maze and then die or whatever, it puts you at your checkpoint like it's supposed to, but then it actually deletes the checkpoint, so then you can replace it there if you want, or pick it up, or, you know, do whatever you want. That way you can't get stuck in an infinite loop of falling off and dying and falling off and dying. So just a little inside game design tip type of thing. You got to think through all of these things, because people will do stuff that you won't exactly expect, and then you know, you'll be seeing the stuff posted on social media right when you launch your game, and you'll be freaking out like, how do I update the game? I can't believe I didn't think about that type of thing. So you got to really think outside the box, and then obviously getting testers really helps that out as well. So this maze is really complicated. Was super complicated to design, but it's not too hard to figure out. So when you go press this button, you can see it turns green, so now you know that's going to be, when you hit it again, you're going to knock down the green walls. As you can see, it put the wall back up where we just were, and now you've opened up multiple paths this way. You can see there's another green wall here, there's a green wall there, and you're like, oh, you know, where do I go? Oh, I found a different switch. Boom, you hit that switch, and then you lower these walls, and now you blocked yourself back out, and then now you've opened up that path, you've opened up this path, and you can see there's more switches. So this level is not super huge, but you know, there is a lot going on. To design this right, to make sure you wouldn't get blocked in anywhere, making sure you always had a switch, you know, somewhere to go, was definitely, you know, super difficult to do, but I think it was well worth it. And then I'll basically show you around here. There's like a blue switch and a yellow switch that you have to go hit, and then when you click it, it will change colors instead of pressing in, and then now all the blue walls will have disappeared, and all the yellow walls will still be up. So now you have more areas of the maze to go and explore. So I'm very excited about that. Of course, this one's not hooked up either. Let me just go back to the hub, and as I end up this live stream. So I would say there's just some super cool levels in here. I'm real excited for you guys to check it all out. There's levels that you have literally to press buttons over and over and over, you know, to solve your way out. And the hardest trophy in the game, as I was mentioning earlier, is you have to get through this level in under a certain amount of button presses. So basically what you have to do is try to figure out your way out as efficiently as possible and try not to backtrack. Because, you know, that's really going to be fun for the trophy hunters and, you know, completionists and stuff like that. So you got levels where you're manipulating doors with button presses. You got levels right like this one, you're turning on lights as you're going into hallways. This level has elevators. You know, that level up there has elevators. This is just a pitter pot bonus level. Another couple things, you know, this has doors with keys. That is just a massive maze just to test your wits and skill. This is inside tomb maze, which is all dark, and you have to make your way out through with all the lighting. This is a pyramid maze, also tower. Went very vertical with the design in this. As you can see, there's 3 different, actually 4 different if you include that one, really vertical, multi-level mazes. So as you can see, as this spins around here, you start in the corner, like one of those corners, and you have left or right to go, and you got to figure out which one is where the stairs are to get to the next level. So this one is super fun. I think this is hooked up. Yeah, I can just jump in here. So this is pretty cool. It's got some post-processing effects to make it look a little bit cooler. So kind of there's like fog going on, and as you can see, the top of the level, you can barely see like right up here. I mean, it's so far away that you can just see the finish. So seeing it super far away is really, really cool. Let me check out one of the comments here. I played this on Wii U and jumping was so stiff. It was difficult to do some of the platform-heavy levels. Yeah, this is pretty much similar to that. I would say it's a little bit smoother than the Wii U version, these PS4 versions. I did change the code for the character controller a little bit, but it's not totally redone. It's basically the same bare bones. It was basically the Unity character controller that they had released in like Unity 4, and then like I changed it a bit to match. I edited their code basically to get that one going, and then I changed it a little bit to make it a little bit more smooth and get rid of a few things. But then I also had to edit it a little bit in order to get it to work for the current Unity version I'm using for the PlayStation version. So yeah, it's a little bit better. I would say it's a little bit smoother, but it's still, you know, you gotta get your handle on it before you really can master the platforming sections. But like I said, like I was mentioning earlier in the video, there's definitely new things to alleviate some of that, the frustratingness with falling off platforms, like checkpoints. You know, you warp right to it. There is no game over. You warp right back to the beginning, and you don't lose your coins. That type of thing. So if you gotta, you know, difficult platforming section coming up and you can see a bunch of jumps that you need to do, you can just drop down a checkpoint, try to make those jumps, and then if you accidentally fall off, it's no big deal. You're right back where you are. You just drop another checkpoint and then try it again. So that basically is kind of helping to alleviate that that kind of issue. And also check out your comment here. That's pretty cool. Love Unity. It's super awesome game engine. Anybody can get into it and start learning. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad to hear you're also working in Unity and you're doing game development. That's pretty awesome, man. Yeah. So this level is pretty cool. Giant tower. I think this is hooked up so I can bounce out. Yeah, this one is also hooked up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I'm going to really show in this live stream. This was pretty fun. I'm glad I got it all working and hooked up. I need to play with the settings again and try to really get better at it, make sure I can balance that audio so you can hear some of the game audio and all of that. And it's actually kind of difficult for me to check the stream settings because I'm currently on a one monitor setup, which makes this extremely difficult because I can't look at the stream comments and check out the stream settings and details or whatever without switching off of the game. So that's kind of annoying. I'm gonna have to find a workaround and kind of get that set up to where I can at least read the comments on my phone so I can answer you guys quicker in real time and keep playing and showing you stuff in the levels. So I'm glad you guys stuck with me on this brand new stream. That's pretty cool. You can see I got a crystal down here so you also can't get trapped. Game design tip, everyone. But yeah, so thanks for sticking around and checking out the stream and checking out a few of the Maze Pedestal Trials stuff. I'm so excited for you guys to check out this level, this whole game, not just this level. But yeah, I really think it's it's pretty cool. And like I said, I'm going to undercharge for it, so I can try to get a lot more downloads and get a community around this and really start doing some focusing on Maze bundles and re-releasing the games together and working on Maze 2 and starting to do some live streams and development for that game in the near future. So, whoa, I've missed a few comments here, so let me check this out before I let you guys go. I know you've developed for a few consoles now and created plenty of atmospheric set pieces for your games. How do you feel about developing for mobile plats? Actually, that's a great question because really, it's not wonderful to say, but I've already shown some of my videos talking about my Steam revenue. Treefall Studios is not a huge money maker. This is more I'm trying to do this full time, but it's pretty much a passion project, and I'm almost there to getting enough income to sustain, but I really have to subsidize that with working other jobs and whatnot. So I've been trying to find other platforms to release games on outside of the PlayStation because Nintendo has really been giving me the shaft, and they've been being kind of stingy and continually saying no on their dev kits. So really if I could do a couple console platforms, that would be enough. But since I'm having trouble getting into all of the current platforms, I have been looking at new avenues to try to find new places to release games, and I've actually been looking into doing mobile platforms this mouse, and I think I'm going to do some spin-off stuff actually and test the waters and maybe do like an orb light version with maybe like 100 levels of more simpler levels, maybe some motion controls and stuff like that, and then maybe do bundles where I release some of those mobile games on other platforms. I've been trying to get in on the PS Vita too because Vita Island, baby. So maybe doing some mobile games, crossing over to some of that type of thing. And that also, for some reason, Nintendo with the Switch, it's very, very interesting. They like mobile developers, and they let a lot of mobile developers make games for the Switch, I guess because it's handheld. So yeah, that's something that I'm looking at. I'm thinking maybe doing spin-off light versions of my games, and then maybe releasing them on consoles as well, and kind of doing bundle packs and that kind of thing. So I am planning on doing some of that, And then let me see have you ever considered an easy mode of sorts where you only have the player collect 3/4 to half the coins so players can go on a walk and enjoy the area without having to stress finding everything? Yeah. Oh, and sorry about the echo in the audio. I think that's also, one, it's probably my audio settings, but two, also my mic kind of stinks. That's another thing. So I just got this webcam so I can start to do these streams and stuff, but I definitely need to upgrade my microphone. There's no filter on this, and it's kind of a cheap one. It was only like $30 or something like that. So if I can, I'm going to start building up a little bit better equipment so this will sound and look a little bit better as we keep going. And like I got this purple light here. I've got a couple things to start making the scene look a little bit nicer, so I'm going to start getting a few more things time after time to hopefully improve these streams and YouTube videos. But yeah, easy mode, I have considered it. I thought about it for this game, actually. I thought about doing basically where you only needed to get like 80% of the coins, like 8 coins. I've thought about, like you said, half coins. But I kind of don't want that to be a changeable option because I like set difficulties. So if I'm going to do something like that, I'm going to have it consistent throughout the whole game. So for this game, per se, I am going to stick with the 10 coin thing because that's basically how I design the levels, because I designed them all, especially for this game and the original game, I designed them to have certain paths. I take my time on the coin placement to try to basically trick the players and or lead you down the main path, but then there's lots of side paths that hold the rest of the coins. But once you kind of figure out where the main path is, if you can kind of figure it out in your head, you can kind of see where the side paths are and realize that I usually place coins like right in the beginning of those paths, and then you don't have to go get lost down the whole thing. For some of the levels I do stuff like that, so I think the placement is kind of important. So yeah, for this game, gonna leave it all 10 coins, but that's why I was mentioning earlier in the stream, just in order for all the players to be able to experience all the levels, it is kind of hard to find all 10 coins on every level. Like, that one down there is massive, for instance, and some of these giant pyramid levels are really hard. And, ease of access and accessibility for everyone is important and something I consider in the design. That's why, I'm thinking about not making you complete every single level in order to find the final bonus level or whatever. I think I'm going to drop it down to 8 out of 10. That way, like if you're really struggling, with this level here, you can just skip it and you can move on and do another level, and one of these other levels might be much easier for you, and then you might be able to beat that, and that way you can get at least enough of the levels completed, go through the journey, unlock the final bonus level, and then see the ending, that kind of thing. That's kind of how I've been approaching ease of access for this game. But for the future, I'm thinking of maybe in Maze 2 not actually doing that. And like you said, like your suggestion, I'm thinking about maybe having a variable coin amount and just doing maybe 7 out of 10 coins. And if you find the finish, then boom, you're able to get out. And cool Punch Bread. I'm glad you like the UI. That's another thing for this game, even though it's just a spin-off, it is all completely redone. I redid the pause menu from scratch, all the level select stuff I redid from scratch, all of that kind of thing. It's all brand new. And if you I don't know if you've played the Perplexing Orb 2, but that game is the first game that I really started experimenting with UI, because there's huge level select and a world overall map screen and stuff like that. And I started learning how to do some more things in that game. So I took some of that knowledge, like this UI animation, like how it slides in and then they fade out and then warp out, that kind of thing. Because I like to have the screen clean so you can be immersed in the game. I don't like to have UI on there the whole time. For example, if you're in this level or whatever, the coins are not on the screen, but there is a button you can press to bring them down at any time. So it shows you when you grab a coin, the 3D coins drop down, but you can also press it to drop it down to see them whenever you want. that kind of thing. So I really, and the new loading screen, all of it is from scratch. So I also really like the UI. But I think that's going to do it for this live stream. We're coming close on an hour. We're at 54 minutes, 54 and a half minutes, so about 55 minutes. So I've been rambling on for quite a while now. But one more question. Is there going to be an intro like in Maze 1? Yes, there is. So I have not decided how, because this is a complete spinoff, and originally I wanted the story to continue from Maze 1. So basically, Maze 1, the story doesn't matter too much in these games. It's basically there on the side. The whole point of the game is to play these puzzle games and to solve your way out of mazes. But originally the story in Maze was you had to beat your way through the mazes to be worthy, basically, to talk to the Oracle, and then the Oracle tells you a feel-good message at the end. And then basically the story of this game is that the Oracle has now told you he has a secret set of trials in order to become the Oracle, and because his time is moving on, basically. And this is his garden, pretty much, the Oracle from Maze 1, and these are his trials. That's why the game is called Pedestal of Trials. So basically that's the story. But I have not animated the intro yet, nor have I animated the end cutscene yet. So, little spoiler for you guys, but like I said, the story isn't hugely important to these games. But this is going to be a continuation of the first game, even though it's not a complete sequel. And like I said, I'll try to work in the story for Maze 2, even though really the game is about completing these puzzles. So alright guys, that's going to do it for this stream today. Thanks for checking out my first live stream on YouTube, even though it was a tad bit rough. Hope you guys enjoyed checking out some of these new levels and upgrades and things that are coming to this game, and I hope you're excited to play this game pretty soon. I'll be posting a few more devlogs to show the final bit of progress that we've got going on, and there's just a couple more things I got to do, and I'll be showing that over the next couple weeks, and hopefully you guys will have this in your hands in April. And thanks, Playtunes. I sure hope it sells well too. I would love to be able to keep doing this and keep making some new games. And yeah, I think this one is got much more going on to it than the original Maze game in terms of levels. So I think it would be really cool. Basically, my plan is to drop the price of this game, try to get it in as many people's hands as possible, gain some new Treefall fans, build the community, have everybody enjoying the game, playing together, and then join me for some devlogs as we make the next game together, which is a whole lot of fun, because I love getting you guys' feedback, posting videos, and working on the games basically in real time, doing devlogs and showing you guys the updates as it's going on, and chatting with everybody. So thanks again for tuning in. I'll just do a couple of little plugs. If you guys enjoyed the stream, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more content like this. We're getting closer. We're over 600 something subscribers, so our next goal is 1,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like on this video. That'll help the video, because I'm going to keep these live streams up on the channel as well, so you can go view them if you ever want to, I guess, for whatever reason, in the future. And then also we have a Patreon page, so if you're interested in checking out our Patreon page, we have tiers for as little as you want. $1, $3, and $5 are the tiers on Patreon, so you can check out the Patreon page. It's linked on our YouTube homepage as well. So yep, that's my little self plugs, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I will catch you later.